The 1984 A Christmas Carol is the 36th version of Dickens's story that I've seen, and it is by far one of the most triumphant. This was directed by Clive, written by Roger O'Herson, of course based on A Christmas Carol by Charles Dickens, and we have George C. Scott as Scrooge. And straight away I knew he was going to make an amazing Scrooge, and I absolutely was not disappointed. The performance there is fantastic. I'm not going to go into a tremendous detail about the story. If you're unfamiliar, it's about a character called Scrooge who doesn't care about Christmas, doesn't care about anybody, only cares about his money, and he's visited by 3 ghosts, the ghost of Christmas past, present, and yet to come. And I'll talk more about my opinions on those characters in a moment. And these ghosts are there to help him learn the error of his ways before it's too late. I love the story, needless to say. I've seen many versions, and I'm always on the lookout for versions that I haven't seen, whether they are very true adaptations, like this one, very, very true to the story, or if they're a little bit looser and generally just inspired by. Also always happy to take recommendations, and I'm very happy to recommend this. Not only is George C. Scott an amazing Scrooge, but every other aspect of this was perfect. I'd say it's one of the longer versions that I've seen. It's 1 hour and 40 minutes, and it's not too long. I just feel like it is one of the longer, but it doesn't drag. There is so much detail. It did a great job of handling the story, of telling the story, and even though it is one of the longer ones that I've seen, it doesn't take too much time setting things up either. We get to meet the first spirit or the first ghost pretty quickly. Not immediately, but soon enough that I didn't feel like they were trying to pad things out. And I just think they did a really great job of telling the story. Visually, it is stunning. Every aspect of this, from the costumes, the character designs, the appearance of the characters, the hair and the makeup, and the actual scenery, the locations, so atmospheric, so beautiful. According to IMDb, this was filmed in Shropshire. I don't know if it's filmed solely in Shropshire, specifically in Shrewsbury, but if anybody has any more information about that, please feel free to share. But it is absolutely stunning. And then we have the ghosts. And I have to say, the ghost of Marley was pretty good, but not my favourite version of the character. The ghost of Christmas past, played by Angela Pleasence. Marley is played by Frank Finlay. I rather liked the way she looked. It's not my favourite version of this ghost, but I do think they did a great job with her. I loved the ghost of Christmas present. He's played by Edward Woodward, and his costume was fabulous. I loved his personality. To be honest, the Ghost of Christmas Present is typically my favourite. I don't really know why. I just find that most adaptations seem to present that character as the most interesting. And I certainly found him to be a delight. And the Ghost of Christmas Yet to Come is played by Michael Carter, and he is as creepy as one would expect. I think they did a great job with the spirits, and all of the characters were fantastic. I did find that Scrooge was a little bit more polite than a lot of other versions, and that's not a complaint as such. It's more of just an observation. For example, I think when he was talking to the Ghost of Christmas past, so he was still quite, he hadn't had much time to develop his character yet, but even as early as that, he was apologising to the ghost for something that he said that the Ghost of Christmas past wasn't too fond of. So he is maybe a little less bah humbug than some of the other versions, but I don't necessarily disagree with that. It is just an observation. Do I recommend it? Without doubt. Is it the first one I'd recommend? It's not my favourite. My favourite is the one with Kelsey Grammer, partly because I love Kelsey Grammer, partly because I love musicals. It just has so many amazing elements to it that really appeal to me. But if you're not a fan of musicals, then I say this one could be a top choice. I'd have to look through my list of the other ones that I've seen. There are some amazing ones. But certainly right now, I would say if you've never seen A Christmas Carol and you want to watch an adaptation, the 1984 version is a pretty strong choice. Very true to the story, beautifully presented, fabulous performances, perfect casting. I absolutely adored it. And while I'm always on the lookout for versions I haven't seen, this is one I would be very happy to watch again. And of course, I'm very, very happy to recommend it.